Hi, I'm David with Hind's Feet on High Places. Trail name Azimuth, that's new. So I am here at the Lincoln Woods trailhead parking lot, getting ready to do number 21 out of 48 of the 48 4,000 footers. This is probably the longest single peak hike that I've done so far, maybe the longest single peak hike in the Whites. It's about 8 miles in, a mile up, and then all the way back down. So about 18 miles total. I'm gonna overnight it. I'm here early because this is Labor Day weekend, also known as the White Mountains Conga Line celebration, where almost every peak out here is gonna just have a conga line going up it. Not wanting to do that, I decided to do Owl's Head on this weekend because it's one of the least favorite hikes out there. Owl's Head is just not very popular amongst some people, and other people absolutely love it. I will reserve my judgment until such time as I've completed it. So why don't you come along? Let's go check it out. So this is Black's Pond. So peaceful, so quiet. From here, it gets kind of interesting. The next section is called the Black Pond Bushwhack. Now, I've bushwhacked before. This is the first time that I've done it kind of intentionally. But research that I read says that it's a very common bushwhack and should be very easy to follow. But if not, well, I've got my map and my trail name is Azimuth. I'm sure I'll be fine. And thus ends the Black Pond Bushwhack. Honestly, it was hardly worth the name. I have been on marked trails that were harder to follow than that. There were a few spots where it was a little questionable. There was one spot where the trail forked and I had to actually break out my compass in order to take an azimuth to see which one headed in roughly the right direction. But that was not even a bushwhack. That was a trail. Well, now I just got to figure out whether I need to go across, whether I need to go that way. But upriver is my destination. Shorter than I thought, by about half a mile, but a really good time. It's an easy trail. A little muddy and slippery in places, but for the most part, it was just a breeze. So this is where it gets tough, but I don't think it should be that bad. It's a little wet though, and this is a slide, so we will see. Here are the two infamous cairns at the base of Owl's Head Slide Trail. Now, I gotta find a place to set up my camp. Okay, there it is. Main camp is set up. I'm getting better at that. I wanted to get the tarp up first because it is sprinkling on and off. And then that lets me get everything else under cover. So the ground is at a pretty steep slope here, but I should be able to lay in that hammock. So there is the backside of Franconia Ridge, all wreathed in clouds at the peak. It's a sight that you gotta walk quite a ways to be able to see. there's the cairn behind me. So it looks like I have completed, and this is 21 of 48. I tell you what, whoever did this ridge trail back here, whoever laid it out, I think they were drunk at the time, because it's very serpentine. But met a nice couple. He just completed his 48, and she's got 3 more to go. So that was pretty cool to be up here on the summit with them. But I waited till they left to start filming. So now it's back down. I'm gonna go down the slide rather than the bushwhack. My friends said they were gonna do the bushwhack, but I've got to go down the slide to get to my camp, and then we'll see where we go from there. So it looks like I'm now off the slide, heading back down to camp. The sun has broken out, although I'm in the shade from the trees. The clouds have thinned, and it is a beautiful, beautiful day. All right, so I overshot my exit from the main trail and ended up all the way at the base of the trail. So I turned around, came back up. Now I'm at my camp. It's only about 1:30, so I'm thinking about breaking camp and heading out. I'm pretty sure I could get home, but on the other hand, I kind of wanted to hang out here. And I got plenty of time to just read and just hang out, so I think I might do that. Covered with moss the hard way. So regulations state in the White Mountains National Forest that unless it is an established campsite, you have to be at least 200 feet from the stream or from the trail. But that looks like an established campsite to me. I think I'm going to relocate because this is a much better site. I can pitch my hammock over there in that spot that's cleared. I can use that to make a campfire, to cook my dinner, and then I can go up the trail a little further to hang my bear bag. I think I'm going to do it. All right, camp is set up. There's a fire pit. I got some firewood. Got dinner laid out. Most of my camp chores are done. So dinner tonight is rice and stir-fry vegetables that I had dehydrated and rehydrated in a cold soak, and then the steak strips that I cooked over the burner a little bit and then dumped in there. Should be good. All right, so I'm in my hammock ready for bed, and it's only 4:45. but I did get up awfully early this morning, so I am tired. I've had problems sleeping in the past when camping. We'll see how this goes. I've got some good white noise in the form of the river that I can actually see from my hammock, which is kind of cool. And I've got my clean camp clothes on, and I'm gonna try to get some sleep. I'll do a little reading first, but the goal is to get a little bit of sleep. We'll see how it goes. I did about 10 miles according to All Trails, and I did that pretty much between 6 a.m. and 1 p.m. because by that point I was setting up camp down here at my new campsite. I got about 7.5 miles, maybe a little longer. I might decide to go the long way home rather than taking the bushwhack, just so that I see something new. But I don't have a whole lot of distance to go. Another hour or two, the sun will be behind the Franconia Ridge, and it should probably get dark here pretty quick. Well, good morning. It is about 10 minutes till 8, and you can see I'm all packed up and ready to head out. Had a good night last night. In the past few times I've tried camping out, I haven't slept very well. I didn't sleep great, but I slept better. And I think it's just a matter of me getting comfortable with sleeping in the backcountry. I'm glad I found this campsite. I'm sure I'm much more comfortable here than I would have been hanging on the side of that mountain behind me. This was a nice, comfortable campsite. It even had a fire pit. And you can see by looking at it that my attempts to start some hiker TV failed. Everything was so very wet, and it just wasn't worth it. So I cooked my steak inside the rice and vegetables that I was making. One of the things that I have been struggling with is how much food to bring. I keep bringing too much. I'm getting better. I brought enough that I don't have hardly any leftovers. I've got some snacks for the trip out, but that's about it. So I got that part right. But last night's dinner, I ended up having to take about half of it out in the woods and burying it because I couldn't eat anymore. And this morning I had my breakfast and I'm stuffed and ready to move out. My phone is charged, my Garmin is charged, but my GoPro is not. I do not have the right cable to charge that, so I'm gonna have to work on that. Make sure that I've got the 3 different cables, because unfortunately they all use different cables. But overall, I would say this trip was a success. Now I just have to make it out. I've got about 7.5 miles. I might take the long way, which would make it about 8. And then we'll see what happens from there. If it wasn't for the fact that it's still pretty chilly from the night before, I would probably take my shoes off and soak my feet in this gorgeous little pool. Not deep enough for a swimming hole, but it sure is pretty. All right, so I'm here where the bushwhack, which is back there, meets the main trail, which crosses the river. So the question becomes, do I take the bushwhack that I've already done, or do I go this way, which has several water crossings? My GoPro has died on me, so I won't get any video of either way, really, but I'm gonna take the water crossings, because it's new. It's something I haven't done. So, see you in a... So here's the next water crossing. This one looks like it will be interesting. I think I know why the last couple that I passed had water shoes attached to their pack. I may want to do the same, or I might just get wet. We'll see. Well, I figure I brought them all this way. I will err on the side of caution. That was kind of anticlimactic. I only had to step in the water once. So I'm now on Franconia Brook Trail and heading south for the parking lot. Probably about 4 miles, but it's very flat terrain, just like I'm on. So as far as I'm concerned, this hike is pretty much over. This is just a walk back to the parking lot. But I want to thank you all for following along and hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and ring the bell so you get all the notifications. Thank you. This is Azimuth signing off and wishing you a blessed day.